And then, what else was it? Sorry. No, you're all good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's kind of it, because then I just said what are your favorite?
Yep. And then I think we have on Zoom, what do we have? People, Lisa, can you hear us?
Yes, I can now. I can see you too.
Okay, that's good. And I don't know, you might be the only person on there, it looks like, so that's cool. It's all good. So I don't really have anything that I'm sharing on the screen. What did you hope that you would learn from today's call, or what had you come into the call today?
Oh, I just.
Did we lose you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was on. I knew this was a script class, and so I was just hoping to learn about new scripts that are effective at helping in voicemails or to set up appointments.
Like, in what kind of lead context? Like,
Well, I know there's different scripts for different types of leads. So listings would be good, you know, referrals. Another one would be like for sale by owner scripts, you know, old listing scripts, that sort of thing. If you're following up with Sphere scripts, Sphere is another one.
yep. Okay. Okay. Yep. We can kind of talk about some various things with different scripts and what to use and what to say. You know, as far as Sphere scripting goes, here's the funny thing about scripts. The best script is the script that you're actually going to use. I know a guy in southern San Diego. His name is Yuri. And in the early 2000s, he sold 100 homes a year in the early 2000s, which made him like top 10 agents in the country, believe it or not, at 100 homes. That was a lot of homes 20 years ago. To sell 20 homes was a lot. And Yuri would dial every phone number once a year in the San Diego white pages, and he would sell 100 homes by just cold calling people. And he had a very, very difficult script to learn. Yuri's script was, "Hi, my name is Yuri. Would you like to buy or sell real estate?" That was Yuri's script. He, year in and year out, made $1.5 million back then. So I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to give anybody a hard time or anything. I think the script that's best is the script that you're actually going to use. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars learning scripts. It gets down to picking up the phone and having genuine conversations with people. And, you know, a lot of times scripting, especially like 5 or 10 years ago, because I've been through Bold, which is a Keller Williams class that we haven't taught really in the last year and a half, but I've been through that like 9 times, you know, and they'll teach you every script, every downswing, every upswing, every pause, and when it gets down to it, you have to say, okay, what am I actually going to go after for leads? You know, like, who are the people that I'm going to go after? And I have to go after the lead source for a long enough time that I can get measurable results that hopefully are repeatable and duplicatable down the way. We still can talk about some additional scripts, but what I found is people get analysis paralysis in this business, and they want to be perfect about doing everything, and they end up doing nothing. You know, and so that's what I would really encourage everybody in this room to do, is do something, because most people get that analysis paralysis and they just don't do anything. When we can think about Yuri, if you went through the DNC list and you called, this business is easy, just everybody makes it hard. Everybody wants to make it hard. Just plain simple. It's contacts. You know, Zach knows it. You know, Zach used to work at Zillow, and Zach knows about contacts. So I can guarantee you, if you got 100,000 phone numbers in Minneapolis, scrub them against the do not call list, put on a dialer, put them through a dialer through Mojo. Mojo Sells is a dialer that you can do for $50 a month. And you put them through Mojo and you called all 100,000 contacts, I would show you somebody that sold no less than 20 properties without even thinking about it. They would sell 20 properties, guaranteed. Every single person could sell 20 properties. You could give the same 100,000 phone numbers to every single person in this office, and every single person in this office could sell 20 homes a year by having Yuri's script. Hi, my name is Yuri. Would you like to buy or sell real estate? It would be that simple, but everybody wants to make it very, very hard, which it doesn't have to be. As far as, does that make sense, Lisa, on Zoom?
Yeah, well, it does. They just called this class the script class. That's how they advertised it. So that's what I thought it was. That's all.
Well, it will be. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that you don't have to have the fancy scripts. You know, we're gonna get into scripts and what we use. I think everybody gets analysis paralysis about the scripts, and they spend way too much time. How do I say it perfectly when it's like, no, pick up the phone and make some calls. You know, I'm not trying to be real blunt, but I am. You know, that's what people don't do. They just don't pick up the phone and make calls. As far as working with, there's an acronym called FORWARD if you're working with your family or your friends. And I don't use it very much because I just don't. But if memory serves me correct, when you're calling Sphere or past clients, or, you know, and it's the forward is the first one is family. So the big thing that people screw up with when they are calling family or friends is who do you know that's looking to buy or sell a piece of real estate? Well, you say that 2 or 3 times to your family or your friends, and they're not going to be very receptive to picking up the phone call. You know, they probably might block you. So when you're calling a Sphere past client, think of this forward acronym. So how's your family? Like, you know, what's going on? But you have to be sincere about this, you know, or otherwise it's not going to get you anywhere. The O is going to be occupation. So this is a script. How's your family? O is occupation. Like, hey, how's work? What's going on, you know, at work lately? R is recreation. So, you know, what have you and the family been up to? Have you done anything that's been, you know, fun? Have you, you know, so you're building that rapport all the way through. But again, if you're not sincere, it can come off just like super, super duper duper cheesy, right? Like, has anybody made like these Sphere calls to family or friends, right? Yeah. So you gotta make sure that it's sincere. So how's your family doing? What's going on with the job? What's going on, you know, like what are you doing for recreation and so forth? And the D, Zach, you remember the D? No.
Dream, isn't it?
I think it got down to, I mean, I've heard people say a couple different things. I think it was, I think dreams was one of them. You know, where you're really just getting into like, talking about, you know, what's next for you guys? What are you gonna do next? Like, you know, how does next year look? Or what, you know, what are you gonna do in the next 6 months? So, I think really dreams, I've heard it dreams. and desire in the most like PG rated, kind of thoughts. So like what are you guys gonna desire to do with your next home? Like, it's having a conversation, but if you can't have this open, conversation, with your sphere of past clients, then it's not gonna work out very well. With for sale by owners, pretty easy. We don't really go after a lot of them. We used to, but with for sale by owners, real simple script. As far as you find the for sale by owner numbers, you can find them in Zillow, you can use services. But with for sale by owners, we really look to call and set up a preview, and every single one of them will let you set up a preview. We look to call and set up a preview with them, and then we go and meet them and see the house and ask them, if we find a buyer, are they willing to pay out a 2.7% commission to fulfill our buyer representation obligation? Most of them will say yes. Some of them will say no. And then what I would do from there is I would say, Zach, I appreciate that you're willing to pay out that 2.7%. I look to be a value to all for sale by owners. And part of my value proposition is to just check in with you on every Monday. If it's okay, I'd like to check in with you every Monday, and I'm just gonna ask you some very simple questions. First thing that I'm gonna ask you is, hey Zach, have you sold your home yet? Second thing, because then I don't need to ask the other two or three. Second thing that I'm gonna ask him is, how did the open house go last weekend? Third thing is going to be, do you have any questions for me? And the fourth thing, Zach, is, are you ready to hire me as your real estate professional? And I'm gonna call and I'm gonna ask you these questions every Monday because I truly want to be able to answer any questions. And I truly am interested if you have sold your home, and I'm truly interested to know how your open house went. And I know at some point, statistically speaking, Zach, 88% of for sale by owners end up going with a real estate agent in order to get their home sold. So Zach, are you okay if I call and check in with you every Monday, hopefully provide you some value add and so forth? Okay. And by the way, a lot of for sale by owners in the state of Minnesota don't realize that they have to fill out one of two seller's property disclosures. Here is a copy for you of the Minnesota disclosure statement and the as-is statement and the disclosure alternative statement. I can't really give you any advice on these, but a lot of for sale by owners find it helpful that I gave them these disclosures because they didn't know that they had to fill it out. So I hope you sell your house this week, Zach, and I look forward to talking with you next Monday. That's it.
Okay, next question. I thought I heard something recently that it's not okay for us to give out our forms unless we're under contract with them.
You can just print off generic ones from the state of Minnesota. The Minnesota Bar Association is gonna have those forms. So, you really don't wanna, or you can just, you have to realize our forms, you just can take off the KW stuff too, if you don't wanna go to the Minnesota Bar Association and find them. You can give me the North Star ones too that are unbranded. So it's a good question. So we talked about past clients and friends. We've talked about for sale by owners. Is that a useful for sale by owner script? I mean, again, these are all value add, right? If you don't have value add, we're past the time of where you can be the Mad Men scripted used car salesman, in my opinion. But what other scripts were we looking for?
I have a question.
Yep.
How often are you calling your sphere and using the board?
4 times a year.
Okay, so quarterly.
Pretty much, because we have 4 client events a year.
Mm-hmm.
So we use our client events as our springboard to contacting our students. Yep. Lisa, what were the other scripts that you were looking for, Lisa, on Zoom?
Well, just so you know, that was really helpful what you just shared. I'd never heard one of those before for the for sale by owner.
Wonderful.
The other one would
Wonderful.
be, how about expired listings?
Yep. Expired listings. Zach used to call them all the time. I have one. Zach, do you still remember yours?
Doesn't matter if it's expired or canceled, but how much you just pull it off the market? What's changed in your plans? How soon are you looking to get it back up on the market?
What caused you? So first of all, ring.
Hi,
Hey,
how are you?
good.
Am I the owner?
No, you're the agent.
Okay.
Okay,
Hi Jason, are you the owner of 123 ABC Street?
Yep, who's calling?
This is Zach over at Keller Williams. Hey, I was curious, I saw that your house came off the market. Did your plans change in terms of selling your property?
We're just gonna take a break.
Okay, what's causing you to decide to take a break now with this kind of market?
We just weren't able to, the agent that we worked with wasn't able to get it sold.
Sure, I can understand that, and that's frustrating, and I can understand pulling it off the market. I have a question for you. How many agents did you interview when you decided on which agent you went with?
Only one, my brother-in-law.
Fair enough. I appreciate you going with your family. Would you be open to me showing you a different way in terms of getting your house sold and the track record that me and my team have in terms of how many we've sold in the past year?
Yeah, maybe, potentially, what are you gonna do different?
Well, what do you think your agent didn't do this time?
I don't really know, they're kind of part-time, they just didn't really do everything that I thought that they needed to do, they're just kind of part-time.
So that doesn't sound like they're too proactive, is that correct?
Yeah, they weren't very proactive, no.
Fair enough. Well, the difference, I can tell you one easy difference is not only me, but our team of 20 agents are full-time agents. This is our career path. This is what we do day in and day out. As a team, we sold over 400 homes last year, and we didn't have one cancel or expire. Do you think it's worth your time to talk with me about how we can get your home sold?
Yeah, I think I can give you 15 minutes or so.
Fair enough. Well, 15 minutes, I do want to take a look at the house, but after that, I can't spend 15 minutes just showing you the difference between us and the other agent. Have some time tomorrow at 2 in the afternoon or 4 in the afternoon. What works better for you?
Let's do 4.
Perfect. And will all decision makers be present when I'm there?
Yep.
Perfect. That's all I need. If you have any questions, you have my phone number, but I'll be prepared, have my research done, and see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
Sounds great, see you tomorrow at 4. And most of those were like bold scripts, and I don't know if I can put them online to all the people that are here or not. I just have to check quick about if they'll allow me to do that, but that's a bold script, pretty much verbatim, just going right down the list, and that's what we do with expireds or with cancels. Now, there's not a lot of them right now. There's more for sale by owners than there are. There's not many of those either, right? Because a lot of people, they have such equity positions that, but you do see them here and there. They're a great place to find potential off-market properties, quote unquote, for your buyers. So we're constantly looking at the for sale by owners that are on Zillow and seeing if one of our buyers is a fit for their home, or otherwise we're looking at the make me move on Zillow too, where they'll say, here's a price at which I would move. So, what else?
Can you tell me what made you move, that you said?
Yeah, just like, it's still on there, right?
You just said that. I haven't looked in a while. Zillow used to have, Zillow might still have, it probably didn't go away, but owners of their homes can put what they would sell it for. And a lot of them are unrealistic, the $250,000 house for $1 million. But if it's right in the ballpark, even if they're old, because if they put, 300,000 3 years ago, probably wasn't worth 300,000 3 years ago, but it probably is now. So it's a good conversation to see if they'd still sell it for 300,000 if you had a buyer.
Yep. So looking at that and looking at, looking at, looking at old expireds and canceled, there's tons of services out there. I think the whole thing too with like all of this is anybody that's even seasoned, you don't want more than 4 buckets of business. What I mean by buckets is everybody's first and foremost bucket is their sphere and their past clients. That's your number 1 bucket, period, end of story. And then from there, it can get very scattered, but it can be very similar to, most people from there are going to have, like right now, there's probably some sort of online leads that they're doing is probably gonna be your number 2 bucket. And we put sphere and past client really in the same bucket. It 3 years ago, it could have been expired or canceled, it could have been for sale by owners. Then online leads, it could be door knocking, it could be open houses. It could be all the inexpensive ways. Everybody kind of gravitates towards spending money when you really shouldn't spend any money on leads unless you have a lot of money to just toss away. I tell everybody, if you're gonna spend money on leads, on online leads, for the most part, I know people have had some success with command and we haven't done any of the command stuff, but I know people have had good luck with that, but we don't do that. But if you're gonna start spending money with Zillow, which is go try to find any inventory that they have, because they really don't have a lot in the Twin Cities. But if you're gonna spend money with Zillow or Realtor.com or even pay-per-click, you better be willing to spend a lot of money and not have any results for a long time. So a lot of them take about 6 months to get results. And it just, you don't need to do your business that way. People that do business that way, it's because they have the means and the systems and the talent to handle it. Because we process 1,400 leads a month. That's what we process internally. But our spend is, I'm not gonna exactly say it, but it's a lot of money. I always have told people, if you wanna go on Zillow or you wanna go on Realtor.com, they'll take anybody's money. But if you're not spending at least $10,000 a month with those sources, it just isn't gonna work. And then you have to go 6 months to really start seeing the fruits of your labor. So you could be 60 grand in before you got one closing. So just be really careful. Everybody likes to gravitate towards that stuff, but I don't think that it's necessary. I would look at the old school stuff. You know, door knocking, that'll come around full swing here when, you know, Omicron and then whatever cron and whatever new variant that we have after this. But I think slowly but surely, you know, that's gonna become more acceptable again, is to do some door knocking. Again though, you know, I talk to a lot of people that do various things, and more than not, I always hear, well, that didn't work. And I even see it along from very high producers too. You know, I am in some closed Facebook groups and people say, well, that doesn't work, or that won't work, or, you know, that lead source was crap. And I think you gotta be really careful, because how long did you actually do it? If you don't do something for 6 months, if you're not well scripted for 6 months and do the same activity over and over again for 6 months, you have no idea if you don't know what your baseline is. So, you know, go show me that somebody that, you know, goes and door knocks or circle prospects. You're gonna have a way better chance going and door knocking, but probably the best person in the local Keller Williams system is a guy in Maple Grove. His name is Nate Pence. He's great at door knocking. I think 2 years ago he did like 33 deals off door knocking. But he basically just went door to door, and he had a very simple script. I'm Nate Pence with Keller Williams. I forget what they are, but Nate Pence with Keller Williams, and who do you think is gonna be the next person in your neighborhood to move? They might say nobody, or they might say somebody. By the way, when do you plan on making your next move? That's all he would do. That's all he would do. And I'm one of those people that had a analysis paralysis too. So that's why I say that. That's why I was very blunt at the beginning of this conversation, is I'm one of those people that had that analysis paralysis. I couldn't get out of my own way for about 4 years in this business, because I thought I needed to know all the downswings, all the upswings, all the pauses, all the fancy scripts. And then when I actually just started going out and shaking hands and kissing babies, then all of a sudden I started selling real estate. So that's why I really harp on that, because I think a lot of people, that's why in 5 years, if you had a class of 100 people in real estate, 5 years from now, there would only be 5 people left out of that class. Proven stat, just happens over and over. It's a puppy mill. It's horrible. So I want people to succeed, but a lot of times people just need to pick those buckets and do the things, you know, sphere, past clients. And then if you're newer, I'd say one more bucket: for sale by owners, open houses, door knocking, expireds and cancels. If you want to do some leads through command, fine. The challenge too that I see with leads in general is people are always very interested in cost per lead. That's what people hang their hats on. I got 1,000 leads for $1,000. That makes my skin crawl. Because I know that those that get 1,000 crappy leads. You know, good pay-per-click leads cost you about $10 a lead. Good ones. I don't believe that there's really a great Facebook lead. We've spent tens of thousands of dollars on Facebook, and we just really have never seen any great leads. The pay-per-click leads, there's a 12 to 18 month turn on the pay-per-click leads. That's what you're gonna spend to get your first conversion. Open houses, if you have the right script with open houses, and it's very much like a Ford approach with the open houses too, right? Lisa, thanks for coming to the open house today. What brought you into the neighborhood? Well, I'm just looking around. Okay. Well, I can appreciate that. Where do you currently live now? You know, whatever it is. Well, Lisa, you know, we find that people that come to open houses are going to do one of two things. They're either going to buy in the next year, or they're just tire kickers. What would you call yourself? I like to get very blunt with people. You know, just, what would you call yourself? You buy the next year, or you get a tire kicker?
I'm a tire kicker.
Okay, well, that's great. Well, have a look around. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm not gonna waste a ton of time on you. You know, I'm not gonna script you into wanting to work with me. You know, I don't need to take your information unless I really think that I'm gonna call you back, because I see people take all these notes and these you know, open houses, and they never do anything with them, you know, most of the time. So it just depends if you're actually going to actively use the data that you get from people, or you're not, or you're just gonna sit on it and, you know, hodl it, you know. But if you're a tire kicker, you're a tire kicker. I'm not gonna talk you into doing it.
If I said next year, what would you say?
Would there be anything, Lisa, that would cause you to move sooner than next year?
This market to go away?
Well, we know that's not gonna happen, so, you know, like, for instance, if I could somehow find you the perfect off-market house, is there a particular house that you've had your eye on in this neighborhood or another neighborhood?
No, not really.
Okay, what are you looking for in a house?
A big family room, nice open kitchen, flat backyard, and a good price.
Okay, well, we can throw the last one out out of the mix. So as long as you're okay with not getting the last one, we probably can work through the other ones. And I'm willing, you know, if you want to sit down and talk about what it means to work with me as your buyer representative, we can definitely do that. I do offer various ways to get properties that are off market to the clients that are signed and working with me. They involve quite a bit of my time and effort. So if you want to sit down and understand what it takes to work with a real estate professional like myself, I'd be happy to sit down with you. Do you have time available tomorrow at 3, or would 5 work better for you? Okay, tomorrow at 3, we'll meet at my office at 14300 Nicollet Court in Burnsville. You know, I mean,
Can you see that part again about, the time and effort?
yep. So Lisa, it does take quite a bit of time and effort for me to find properties that are off market for my buyer clients. And I only offer this service for buyer clients that have agreed to enter into an exclusive representation agreement with me. So in order to do that, we just need to sit down for 30 minutes and talk about your wants and needs and the services that I provide. Do you have time available tomorrow at 3, or would 5 work better? Because a lot of people, you know, you gotta be careful. Don't run around with people unless they're signed. A lot of people, oh, I'm gonna work with the agent who finds me the property. And here's what I always say. Because we'll get investors, they'll say, well, I'm gonna work with the agent that finds me the property. Well, here's the thing, Lisa, you know, I can appreciate that. And a lot of these investor classes, if you will, tell you not to sign any agreement with any agent. They say have multiple agents working with you. Well, I think if you have multiple agents working for you, you really have no agent working for you. And let me tell you why. Because when I have a buyer representation agreement with a client, I have a fiduciary obligation to put their needs before my needs. If I find that rock star deal and you're not a signed client of mine, and I don't have another client, I don't have a signed client currently, I'm gonna buy that deal. Personally, I'm gonna go and buy it. Why would I give it to somebody else? If you're a signed buyer of mine, I have a fiduciary obligation to put your needs in front of mine. So that's why you want to have signed agents. If you think you have a bunch of people working for you, you actually have nobody working for you. And I've done it too. I mean, you know, I've had somebody go, oh, if you find this, you know, let me know. I'm not gonna let you know, I'm just gonna go buy it myself. Well, I'm not gonna give it to somebody else. And some of these deals, there's 30, 40, 50, $100,000 to be made. Oh, you're not signed with me? Oh, maybe I'll just give this to you. You know, what? And we pay finder's fees. Any of y'all hear about a property that's out there that's awesome, someone needs to get rid of? Let me know. We'll pay you 2.7% of the purchase price. Absolutely. We buy stuff for cash all the time. Zach found one 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks.
I found it 4 months ago. We closed on it 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. Paid 2.7%, probably the easiest 2 hours of his time that he ever had.
Agreed.
We'll buy them, but don't give those deals out to Mr. Wannabe investor. You know, be careful too with investors. There's a lot of them out there. Have some qualifying questions.
What are those qualifying questions?
Qualifying questions for investors. How many properties do you own? First and foremost. Are you an individual investor? Are you working with a group? Are you the decision maker? Don't tell them how much money they have to put down. Ask them how much money they are putting down. That can quickly help you weed them out. Oh, I'm gonna go 0% down. Sure you are. Sure you are. 0% down. Probably not gonna happen. Have you been pre-approved? With what bank? Those typically will help you weed them out.
Are you doing the work or do you hire the work out?
Mhm. When's the last, how long ago was the last property that you purchased? Is there an area that you focus in? All of those are good questions to ask people. These investors will suck the life out of you. Might as well call investors vampires. Especially in this market. Let's make 100 lowball offers. Be careful with investors. I'd say the same thing to the team. But they can be great too. I have 3 investors that'll buy houses from me sight unseen. They're just going off of Jason Huerkamp's word that they should buy it. They don't even need to see it. Some of them don't even ever see them. All 3 of them will buy stuff without even seeing the houses. And if I had to build those relationships again, I don't know that I would. Not right now. It took forever to build those relationships. One of those investors, I've been in 400 houses with her. She's a dear friend, and I've told her, like, we wouldn't be working together anymore because it took a lot of time to form that relationship. She'll buy houses sight unseen. A guy in California will buy houses sight unseen, and then I got another guy that buys 6-7 houses from me every year. But they all are willing to buy them sight unseen. That's how much faith they have eventually. And they've all increased their net worth by over $1 million from working with me. One by 2 million. So, did that answer your question on your stuff there, Lisa? What else? Probably the most important script that we use, because we do a lot of internet lead generation, is the acronym LP Mama. Right? Anybody ever heard this? Yes? No? See? Yep. Lisa on Zoom.
Nope, I haven't heard of it.
Okay. We use LP Mama to qualify, so vertically, right? LP MAMA. And we use that to qualify any of our online leads that are buyers. This is a buyer script. Zach, how much time has using this saved you? This script using this script saved you?
Tons.
Probably couldn't even measure it, right?
Oh, it'll very easily tell you if it's worth going to an appointment or not.
Yep. How much headache has it saved you?
Oh, there's plenty of them still, but I'm sure it saved me tons of headache.
Yep. All right, Zach, let's roll through this. You'll be the buyer.
Okay.
Ring.
Yo,
Hey, am I speaking with Zach?
you sure are.
Hey, Zach, quick second of your time. My name is Jason. I'm a real estate agent with Keller Williams. I see in my system here that you're interested in 123 Banana Street right here in Bloomington. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, awesome. Well, that house is priced at $353,000. Is that a price range that you were kind of looking in or hoping to be in?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, great. Well, stuff's selling fast, so it's good to take advantage of the properties as you see them as fast as you can get in them. Currently, Zach, do you own or rent?
I own now.
Okay, you currently own now, and are you looking to sell that property before you buy your next one, or are you gonna become an investor?
Most likely sell it.
Most likely sell. Okay, well, that's great. I have the ability to help you with the buy and the sell if you figure out that you actually want to work with me, and maybe you do, maybe you don't, but it's too early to know, obviously. Say, Zach, how many homes have you been in personally currently?
In this search, none so far.
You haven't been in any homes so far, so would it be safe to say that you're not working with an agent right now?
Correct.
Okay, great. So Zach, for the next property, are you gonna be paying cash or are you gonna be looking to get some sort of financing?
I'll be getting financing.
You'll be getting financing, okay, most people do, that's awesome. So Zach, I see here that this property is available to be seen, today at 5 or at 7. Do either of those times work for you, or which one of those works best for you?
I'm not sure, I'd have to check with my wife.
Okay, should we pencil in 7 o'clock so you have enough time to check with your wife and I can shoot you a text to follow up?
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay, great. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and schedule the appointment, and so that we don't kick the sellers out on the street when it's 20 below zero at 7 o'clock tonight, just please do me a favor and respond back to the text if the appointment's gonna work with you or not, or then I can cancel the appointment with the sellers. Does that sound good to you?
Yes.
All right, well, great, Zach. Appreciate your time. Again, my name is Jason Huerkamp with Keller Williams, and I look forward to seeing you at 123 Banana Street tonight at 7 o'clock.
Sounds good, thank you.
So you'll show them the house first, build a relationship, and then meet them later, or what do you do?
Yeah, we're drug dealers, right? First hit's free. So that's how you gotta look at this, especially if you're newer. You're a drug dealer, the first hit's free. The drugs that I deal are called homes. I'm a drug dealer, the first hit's free. Now, if you have a ton of clients and a ton of stuff going on, the more and more, the more selective you can be, right? But yeah, that's what I say initially to people. I'm a drug dealer. I deal drugs, cover real estate, your first hit's free. I wanna get them in. I want them to see me to see them. We show houses on our team far different than a lot of people show houses too. You know, we've done that class a few times with the marketplace where I go through and I show how we show houses. We're really real estate advisors. We're not here to sell somebody on a house. You know, most people show houses totally wrong. They point out all the really nice, awesome things about the house, if there are those things, and they don't give advice. They don't point out the bad things. So we're just there to point out the bad things. Everybody can see the nice things.
So when you show that house, what do you say when you're at the house to get them to a buyer appointment?
Basically, a lot of times it can happen naturally just by showing how we show the house, you know, because nobody else has shown them a house like that. Nobody else is giving them, you know, insight and value. You know, we're going through and, you know, talking about the heating system, pointing out bad windows, pointing out driveways. We show a house from the neighborhood in, and a lot of people just like run right up to the door. So we show it from the neighborhood in. You know, our first thing that comes out of my mouth is, you know, Lisa, the only time that you actually can pick your neighbors is right now. After that, all your neighbors pick you. So I would encourage you to look around the neighborhood and see if you want to see yourself living next to Billy, who's got his bass boat and his RV in the front yard of all things. Do you like that? You might say yes. I don't know. It doesn't bother me if you say yes or no. You know, and then from there, you know, we're looking at the road. Could it need work in the near future? We're looking at the driveway. Is it falling apart? We're looking at the apron between the house and the driveway. Is that settling? How much is that going to cost to repair? We're talking about the different types of siding. We're talking, does it have architectural shingles? Does it have 3-tab shingles on the house? Very rarely are they going to have shakes and not a lot of metal roofs, cedar shakes or metal roofs. You know, then we're going up to the front door and going in, and then, you know, is there any immediate weird smells that are in the house? And then we're walking through, and, you know, I'm there to look at big things, you know, when I'm selling homes, not the nice things. Everybody can see the nice things. But the minute somebody, as a buyer, we show a house how we show them, even in this market, it's very seductive to them to be like, if I work with Zach, I'm gonna lose my ass because he's not showing me a house like Jason does. So we always tell people we're advisors, teachers, and advocates, not pushy salespeople. But you have to own that. You truly have to believe that. Because if you don't, then you're just a pushy salesperson. We're advisors, teachers, and advocates, not pushy salespeople. What else?
What did that acronym stand for, the LP Mama? What does that stand for?
Oh, Location, price, mortgage, or motivation, you can put them in the, I'll show up. So location, price, motivation, agent, mortgage, appointment. So again, location, price, motivation, agent, mortgage, appointment. That script will save you thousands and thousands of dollars. And the most important one of them all, in my opinion, is the agent. Because it's happened to probably everybody on our team where they won't ask about the agent. For some reason, everybody just wants to fall over themselves and go show houses, which is also beyond me. But let's say it's tomorrow night. You hit every single thing but agent. You take your car and you drive up to Maple Grove and meet them at 6 o'clock on a Friday. You get there and the showing goes awesome and they're like, we love this house, Zach, thank you so much for showing it. We're going to get a hold of Hannah, our agent, immediately to write up a purchase agreement. We really appreciate your time. It happens. Everybody got all happy-go-lucky about their LP mama, but they forgot one of the A's. And it'll happen to you guaranteed. So, yep, location, price, motivation, agent, mortgage, appointment. What else?
I have a question, but it's back on the promise.
Okay, let's do it.
You said that you feel that your team failed at it because you didn't implement it correctly or ask consistently, was it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Zach, that'd be accurate what you say.
Well, I didn't catch.
The promise, like,
we
we probably just didn't ask for it consistently and we didn't implement it totally correctly, right?
Yeah, I would definitely say yes.
And that's nothing against anybody, you know, I mean, it's my fault as much as anybody else's.
I think it goes along the lines of what you were saying earlier, though, it's yours. However, it's gonna make sense for you to present it is how you should script it. I think ours was probably, and we agree, Jason, that's probably a little long-winded.
Yeah, but coming from the guy who is the most successful of it, the originator of it, you know, here, we'll even play it. It's, you know, just Mike Hicks' promise. I mean, it's not all that long-winded. It's 2 minutes, 2 minutes and 17 seconds. I don't know. If you just YouTube Mike Hicks' The Promise, I don't know that we're gonna be able to get the volume to.
Turn the volume up about on the screen.
I don't know if this will work. Let's see.
You get some.
Can we turn up one of those knobs?
Ow.
Maybe get everybody's ears
Just
blown
shot
apart.
when you turned off.
This is one of them that's like main speaker. That didn't work. No. Maybe you just wrecked it all. Regardless, do Mike Hicks, just YouTube Mike Hicks' Promise. I know Mike Hicks personally. He is about as down to earth as it gets. He will tell, he's in a little town in, close to a cabin that I have in Idaho, Idaho Falls, Idaho. There's probably surrounding areas, including the town, there might be 100,000 people. Him and his business partner will sell like 500 homes a year in a town of 100,000, a town the size of Bloomington. An area twice as big as the Twin Cities, a population the size of Bloomington, he'll sell 500 plus homes, or he did sell 500 homes last year. And he will tell you that 30% of his business comes from that script, right there, that script. 30% of his business comes from that script. So I don't know if I answered your question or not on it, but.
No, I mean, I think that pretty much answers it. We're just trying to figure out, because he says, don't alter the script.
No.
So we're not going to, but we're just trying to figure out the timing of everything. So I was just,
Initially, when you meet them, face to face, when they're signing an agreement to work with you. And after that, it's really touching in with them at the important times, especially if they're a buyer or a seller, right after the inspection, right after the appraisal. Then you gotta be willing to ask at the closing table. Zach, I really appreciate your business. I see that we weren't able to earn the right to get a referral from you during this transaction. I really would like to know what I can make it up to you, because obviously I didn't make a 5-star experience for you, so what could I have done differently? You gotta be willing to do that part. If you're not willing to do that part, the whole thing doesn't work. So, but it's 2 minutes and 16 seconds.
So question for you, I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh no,
You
I
can
was
finish,
just,
you can finish that topic.
oh no, I was just gonna say that answered my question, so.
Awesome.
So you had said before in previous trainings, like your first few years, you didn't really do a lot, and then you made some changes and like took your business seriously. So like, where were you at? What were the things that you did that catapulted you to growing your business?
Where was I at? Well, I guess I'm pretty much, by definition, bankrupt in 2007. So maybe there's no way that you can go much further down. It's pretty easy to go up, I guess. I think for me, it just really got to be like I was just gonna do whatever it took to make life work. The only reason I was bankrupt was I had about $140,000 of aviation flight school loans, because that's what my background is as a commercial pilot. Went to Mankato State, but so I just was not gonna not make it work. And so I started calling private equity firms that had assets that were in foreclosure. And I basically made enough phone calls where I landed a client that took about a year to land, and from like 2008 till 2011, we sold 170 homes for him. And our average sales price at that time was like $250,000 a home. The average sales price in the Twin Cities was like 175. So they valued us, and we valued them. But then that dried up. But I saw that kind of coming too, as I managed the inventory, so I knew it was coming down the pike. And then I read the Red Book, and I did everything to a T in that book. I didn't make it my own. I didn't deviate at all. I hired, Brooke was the admin, and then we hired, it basically says rainmaker, admin, then buyer agent. And that's what we did. I followed that book to a T. Most people don't do it. They won't do it. They'll be rainmaker. They'll hire an admin, and then they'll start hiring buyer agents. They won't hire that second admin. They never do the admin. They just start plugging in producers. It's because they don't produce enough themselves. I mean, come on. So go sold 20 houses. or 30 houses, it depends if you're on a team or not, it depends what your expenses are, but you're gonna have expenses, no matter if you're on a team, your expenses are part of your commission. If you're not on a team, you're gonna have expenses of the lead generation, you just are. So I would bet that if you really looked at tax returns that people on teams could make more than individual agents. They might hate me for saying that, but I think it's probably the truth. Just because like our value proposition to our team members, I mean, I don't know, it's hard to probably even put a value on it, I guess, but that's what people need to do if they want to build big businesses, is they got to have a big value proposition for their team members. If you don't have a big value proposition for your team members, I see it happen all the time. People form partnerships, people, form these businesses and they fall apart. It happens all the time, even in the market center. I see it. It's a lot of times because it wasn't formed correctly. Everybody went in with handshakes and no paperwork, and they all just kind of fall apart because people get animosity about uneven amounts of work between people and so forth. But I mean, right now, your average commission check gross is $10,000. You gotta be kidding me. I mean, selling 20 houses a year is damn near a part-time job. Go sell 40 houses a year, and really, 20 houses a year, you're selling one every 2 weeks. I'm not trying to talk bad about anything. I just can remember when I would have to sell 40 houses to make $100,000 a year. There's just so much money in real estate. You should be able, with your sphere and your 36 touch, if you're doing a 36 touch correctly, 8.33% of those people will buy every year. 1 in 12. 1 in 12 like clockwork. 1 in 12, 1 in 12, 1 in 12, 1 in 12. We were pretty close this year. What did I say yesterday that we were? Like 7 point something or?
Yeah, 7 or 8.
What did you say,
8.33. 8.33%, 1 in 12. It's about plugging in. There's no industry that you can make more money legally than real estate. There just isn't. If you want to talk about the illegal stuff, I'll talk to Zach. I really have a halo around my head versus
you said you
his
were a
horns.
drug dealer, so.
Huh?
I said you said you were a drug dealer.
Yeah. I did. So that's what pains me, is you can make a lot of money in this industry, and you can, really, if you're an individual agent, your cost of sale is probably between 30 to 35% at minimum. So yeah, a lot of people still don't know their numbers, right? Either, how much money did you make that last year? They'll ask an agent, they'll be like, I made $400,000. Unless you sold one property that was worth, $13 million, and someone had no expenses behind selling it, your cost per sale is 30 to 35% especially once you get plus 20 transactions, because you're gonna have an admin, you're gonna have to have marketing, you're gonna have to be doing your 36 touch, you're gonna have to be, your cost of sale just sits somewhere right in those numbers. So, really it's not 10,000, it's maybe 6,000, 6,500. Get a good coach too. Sooner than later. When I came over here, Olivia had me get a coach, and we have multiple people on our team that have had people that are coaches. But I have a MAPS coach. I used to be a MAPS coach. My coach currently costs $2,500 a month. Again, don't take any of this as like ego or any of that, because this is not that. I'm just very blunt about talking, because I don't want to see people make the mistakes that I did and lose the amount of money that I did making those mistakes. Because I've lost my fair share of money by just not doing stuff correct, and we lose money every year on something. I pretty much have a lose money jar that we allocate probably about $10,000 a year to lose money on something stupid. But we fall, we get up, we fall, we get up, we follow the get up. I don't know if it works unless I try it, and I do my best to vet stuff, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. You know, it doesn't feel very good, but at the least you get willing to make those mistakes. What else? We're about out of time. Was this helpful? Do you think less of me? Okay. Zach always thinks less of me. Hannah's not sure what to believe or what to think right now at all. She's just like, this guy's a conceited prick. Which, yeah, I don't think whatever I can do to help any of you all out, I want to make sure that you hit your goals. Biggest thing too is write down a goal. What's your goal? Write it down. I write it down every year. You know, I mean, my code in my phone used to be 1,500 because that's the amount of real estate transactions that I intend to do within the next 10 years. You know, right now my code on my phone is 2076. I want to live till I'm 100 years old. In 2076, I'll be 100. So, I mean, you gotta have your goals and you gotta put them in there subconsciously or you're not gonna hit them. People still write down their goals. Or you know how, be like taking out a map and driving, intending on getting to a destination, but not knowing what that destination was. How the hell that's gonna work, right? I'm going to get to this destination, I just don't know where I'm going. What? For most agents, that's how they run their business. It's like, have the goal and then break it down. It's not all that hard, especially with the commissions now. You know, if you're netting $6,000 to $7,000 netting on a file, oh my gosh, that's a lot. Zach got his average sales price up a little bit.
That'd be rich.
What else? Nothing?